I wish to call to order this meeting of this work session of the Monroe County Board of Commissioners on August 16th. We will start with item number 1, which is ordinance 2023-27, Casey Shake rezone. And we have Daniel Brown from planning, I believe. I hope. And I hope technology is our friend right now. There you are.
There he is.
Hello, thank you. Let me just quickly share my screen here. So this is a rezone for one parcel, 5 acres, more or less, in the Richland Township, Section 24. And these are the same slides that were presented during the Plan Commission meeting last month. So the rezone request is from agricultural reserve to medium density residential and limited business. The petitioner was originally proposing to amend the zoning map so that a 1.05 acre portion of the property is rezoned from Ag RR to MR. However, after the Plan Review Committee meeting, the petitioner made an addition to the proposal, requesting that a sliver of the subject parcel, measuring an estimated 0.09 acres, also be rezoned as limited business, so that it may be added to the LB property directly to the north. The newly proposed 0.96 acre MR lot would satisfy all lot and building requirements, and the 0.09 acre sliver would be transferred to an adjacent property to the north through subdivision process. Here's the comprehensive plan discussion. Would the commissioners like me to go through this?
Since this is new to me, yes, please.
All right, so here is the comprehensive plan discussion. The site is located in MCUA mixed residential. Points that align with the proposed rezone are highlighted in green, while points that differ are highlighted in gray. So I will go through the green objects first. Mixed residential neighborhoods accommodate a wide variety of both single-family and attached housing types integrated into a cohesive neighborhood. They might also include neighborhood commercial uses as a local amenity. For bike, pedestrian, and transit modes, tree lawns of sufficient width will support large shade trees. For sewer and water, the majority of mixed residential areas designated in the land use plan are located within the existing sewer service areas. For urban agriculture, dedicated lots of land solely used for community food production are supported. For development guidelines, parking patios, single-family lots will typically provide 1 to 2 spaces in a garage or driveway. For site design, front setbacks should range from 10 to 20 feet with porches, lawns, or landscaping gardens between the sidewalk and building face. Garages and parking areas should be located to the rear of buildings accessed from a rear lane or alley. For materials, high-quality materials such as brick, stone, wood, and cementous fiber should be encouraged. And for private signs, mixed residential neighborhoods should not feel like a typical subdivision tract. It may be appropriate for neighborhoods to include gateway features and signs, but these should be used sparingly and in strategic locations rather than for individually platted sub-areas. As for the areas that differ, once again, highlighted in green, for streets, the street system should be interconnected to form a block pattern, though it is not necessary to be an exact grid. An emphasis on multiple interconnected streets, which also includes alley access for services and parking, will minimize the need for collector streets, which are common in more conventional suburban residential neighborhoods. And again, for bike, pedestrian, and transit modes, streets should have sidewalks on both sides. And here are the facts of finding for the rezone. Item A, the comprehensive plan designates the petition use as MCUA's mixed residential, which includes rural property, environmentally sensitive areas, and the intention of the petitioner, if the rezone is approved, is to allow for an existing home to exist on a smaller lot. B, current conditions and the character of current structures and uses in each district. See findings under section A. The rezone request is to change a portion of these 5.04 acres from agricultural rural reserve to medium density residential and limited business. The current use of the petition property is residential and it is developed. It has 1 residential structure and 1 residential accessory structure on site. Adjacent uses are residential or commercial, and adjacent zoning is Ag RR, PUD, MR, and LB. Item C, the most desirable use for which the land in each district is adapted. Again, we'll refer to previous findings, and the site consists almost solely of buildable area, slopes 15% under, and there are no known karst features. Item D, the conservation of property values throughout the jurisdiction. Property values tend to be subjective, and the effect of the approval of the zoning on property values is difficult to determine. And item E, responsible development and growth. See previous sections. Access is off of North Smith Pike, and according to the Monroe County Thoroughfare Plan, North Smith Pike is classified as a major collector road. And here is the letter to the commission, to Monroe County Planning from the petitioner. And here are location maps. The one on the left is a location map relative to the county. The one on the right is a site conditions map that shows the sloped areas. As you can see, the area is almost entirely under 12% or less slope. And the current zoning map, as well as the comprehensive plan map, which have already been discussed. And here are some images of the site itself. The one on the left is a pictometry view of the lot. The one on the right is a view of the front yard of the property. For this slide, the image on the left is for a structure that was previously demolished, and the one on the right is of an existing structure, a car shed. Here is the original rezone proposal for the property. So this section, the MR zoning, would stand all on its own, while the rest of the lots will be absorbed into lots 20A here and stay Ag RR. This is the updated area in which a sliver of the lot here will be, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but it will be added to the LB section here. Here they are a bit more side by side, which will hopefully paint a better picture of the differences between the two. And so the recommendation for the Plan Commission, so the recommendation was that staff recommends forwarding approval based on the petition's compatibility with the Monroe County Comprehensive Plan, with the condition that they submit appropriate subdivision applications to demonstrate the 1.05 acre portions rezoned LB and MR as separate lots of record. This was given a positive recommendation at the Monroe County Plan Commission meeting on July 18th, I believe, and it was given a positive recommendation of 7-0.
Are there comments or questions from my colleagues about this?
Not at this time.
I will just note for the record that this petition relates to the Dr. Sheikh, who is a veterinarian and takes care of my pet family, but I have no fiduciary interest at all in any of this, so I plan to participate in the voting. But this makes a ton of sense. It's logical, so I supported it throughout the process.
So I don't quite understand why part of this is being rezoned to limited business. Is it because the plot just to the north is limited business? Is that where he has his veterinary service, or what is this?
Yes, the portion of the lot that's currently zoned LB, the lot that's currently zoned LB to the north, that is indeed the veterinary business. And I believe according to the Plan Commission meeting, if I recall correctly, Dr. Sheikh, he runs a veterinary service and he often walks pets along that portion. And he just feels that sectioning that portion off and to the north to be part of his business would prevent any complications from potential trespassing on someone else's property. Though to clarify, he does own every single parcel that you see highlighted in this lot here currently. Though my belief is that he intends that if it is rezoned MR, he plans to sell that portion off.
Okay, thank you. So at this point, when do my colleagues want to hear this during a regular session?
Next week's fine with me.
Me too.
Next week? So will you bring this back next week, Mr. Brown?
Certainly.
And would you notify the petitioner? So,
I will, and I believe they're actually on this Zoom meeting right now.
oh, okay. Well, excellent. Well, then we will see you next week. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we have one other item, I believe, at least one other item on our work session, and that is a letter in support of the Soil and Water District, Conservation District.
I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to ask for Commissioner Githens to go ahead and sign a letter of support for the Soil and Water Conservation District regarding the Indian Creek Watershed Plan.
Second.
And Mr. Cockrell, you want to talk about this?
I'll give you the details as I know them. The county council office received an email last Friday asking for a support from the county for this Indian Creek, a grant for this watershed planning for Indian Creek. Looked at I looked at the materials, and kind of hard to get a solid answer within that period of time. So I said this letter would commit the county to explore the following: utilization of county space to support any meetings, utilization of county staff to support the project. I mean, when I was typing that, I was thinking the planning and our GIS coordinator may be helpful to whatever they're doing. And third, review and the proposed project and determine financial contributions to support the project. And again, up above it says the county commissioners will work with the county councils to explore and look at that. And I didn't know how to put a solid figure in, given the timeline and the amount of knowledge we know of what actually is the grant for, and the grant budgets and things like that. So this would support that project, say, hey, we'll look at those 3 areas to see where we can help.
So comments or questions from my colleagues? So this just is pledging our support for the project, basically. Is that?
Pledging support and saying that, and committing that we'll look at least in these three areas, that we will see what we can do, see what makes sense for the county's support. When we look at this, the resources, I mean, this should benefit Greene County, Lawrence County, Martin County, and Monroe County. So it's be interested to see, what other counties are doing and things like that. But given the time frame, I don't know if we had the ability to do that.
Okay. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, if there's nothing else from my colleagues, I'll call for a vote on support of the Soil and Water Conservation District letter that would go out today. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Do we have any other items for our work session?
I have one other item, and it should have been hopefully with the letter. We are working on settling a dispute when we're purchasing some property for one of our road projects. There seems to be a factual dispute between us and the owner of the property. And I think in order to resolve that, we need to get a surveyor out there to do some work and potentially even document some work. So I have a project request order from Deckard Land Surveying, which both parties have agreed to as we're working through that. Would really like to get him out there and mark the areas this week still. So if we could get this approved, it would allow that to move forward. It's not to exceed $3,000, and we'll know when they do the markings whether we need further documentation of what they did or not. The plan is to go out there when they mark it with with both sides and just kind of talk about what the results are.
So if I understand this, this is for survey work at 1141 North Sunrise Greetings Court in Bloomington.
Correct.
Is that correct? So do I have a motion?
I'm
What?
not sure what we're making a motion on.
To
We need to approve
contract,
having the surveyor do this work. And so the motion would be
Okay.
on
Okay.
that agreement. The fund
All right.
would likely be the West Side TIF Fund, which is
Okay.
supporting most of the project.
Okay. So I move to approve a contract with Deckard Land Survey for work at 1141 North Sunrise Greetings Court to be paid for out of the West Side TIF.
Second.
thank you. And it's not to, estimate is not to exceed 3,000, right, according to this. Any questions or comments? Seems very straightforward to me also. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, I call for a vote on the contract with Deckard Land Survey for survey at 1141 North Sunrise Greetings Court. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Motion passes 3-0. Is there anything else for our work session? Seeing none, we will adjourn and we will be back next week on August the 23rd. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Katz. And thank you, TSD.